People always ask you, how is your business recession-proof? Mm-hmm. There is never a single time anyone has said, how is your business pandemic-proof?
So we will now, though. That will be a part of it. We
absolutely will now. But I think I've gone through the entire range of emotion. I mean, you have instant fear of the entire, watching the news, how could you not feel instant fear in the situation that we were in? And then I felt guilt for being the owner of a company and not knowing what to do or how to adapt to the situation. And then I felt anxiety about feeling like I was missing the boat or moving too slow or not filling out the right forms. I mean, it literally was every emotion in the book. And I still sometimes continue to feel that way, even as we're coming out of COVID, because so much continues to change. But a big piece of that was also being able to center and ground myself and to actually allow myself to feel some joy and excitement as well. It's so easy when everything is falling down around us to get completely caught up in those emotions.
Oh, I love that.
And so I looked at that and said, okay, what am I going to do to ground myself? And I ended up going hiking in the mountains every Thursday all day. At a time when my company is completely falling apart and the world is falling apart. But what I did is I spent that time to be able to be completely by myself, to hike up a mountain and to let the anxiety drain from my brain and to be able to think bigger. And so that's where I allowed that joy to creep in. And it's where I was able to say, what if, instead of, oh no.
There's so much wisdom all around us in nature. And we are part of nature. I think it's really important to remember that we are part of these systems, and the inherent beautiful knowledge of a closed circular system like a forest or a plant that's using photosynthesis. It's both removing nutrients from the soil and then giving back nutrients to the soil. It's just there's so much beautiful knowledge in nature about how to make things less wasteful, in fact, zero wasteful. I know we can do that with our built environment. I know we can. And we're getting closer and closer. We're starting to use more bio-based products. We're starting to think about the way our buildings breathe and give us light and energy in ways that require a lot less fossil fuel consumption. We're getting closer and closer and closer to what we call net zero, right? Or even going beyond that to regenerative architecture. So we're actually healing the systems that we used to be sort of taking from.
The purpose and the intention behind everything I do is the same. It's about the equitable distribution of resources. It's about decision-making power. It's about my fundamental question of who gets to decide, right? And so as somebody who practiced design and architecture, it was always about trying to bring the community into what we're building, right? What is being done in your name? How is this breaking ground going to better the circumstances in your community? How is it going to reflect your needs? How is it going to help you get where you want to go, right? We all have a vision of our future, and how is that going to help it manifest? And then becoming a developer, it was really about having community-led community development.
The song I'm going to sing tonight is Barely Holding On. And we were talking about artists in the pandemic. Yes. Obviously, everything shut down. No work. Like, you can't even design anything for anything because there's no festivals. You can't write something for a project because there's no projects. Everything was shifted to, online, and you can only do that so much. And so I felt like as a musician, I was barely holding on, I was having to really pivot in a lot of new ways. And so I think that song sort of just pushes against that message of like, just bulldoze through and just like use your grit and like get, it's like I like you want to do that, but you can't. You just have to hold on. That's all you can do is just survive. Yeah. And so that's what the song's about.
I'm a first generation American. And it was not uncommon that I would be in a room of other first generation Americans that feel privileged to be here, and that the U.S. gave hope and a place for us to dream our best dreams. And I was always told, you can be whatever you want to be. And not everyone is given that as a female or, as whoever. Like, name what it is that makes you different. or makes it harder, but that there's an equality there because we all put on the same uniform and we're all there for the same purpose. So I think there's a societal change that happens there in a certain amount of acceptance that's incredible.
I think it was a moment before Shark Tank when we were contemplating we need to probably quit our part-time jobs and go full in on Slumberkins so that when we're in the tank and the sharks ask, like, are you all in? We can say we're all in. And I think there was a moment we were driving out of Kelly's neighborhood and she gave me the why not us speech. Like
What was his speech?
It was like the Friday Night Lights speech, like
clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
exactly. No, I mean, it was really like, okay, let's look at this logically.
Yeah.
The people who are making the toys and the things that we buy, right? Like, who are they?
Yeah.
They're not moms. They're not like us.
Oh,
like,
I love it.
They're not a teacher. They're not a therapist. Who actually is on the ground caring about what our kids are reading and what they are experiencing and how they're growing and emotional wellness and mental health?
Oh, that's great.
Not those people. So why not us? Who else would do this? Really?